Hello everybody, welcome back to Jared Opens a Box here on Jared Takes the L, and we have a great episode for you guys here today because as many of you might know, this weekend is Survivor Series, one of WWE's biggest pay-per-views. It's one of the big four alongside the Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, and WrestleMania. I usually try to have an Opens a Box video that, goes with those events. I try to do that. There's no guarantee that it's going to happen every weekend. It just kind of depends on whether or not Funko has pops ready for that. But thankfully, they did for Survivor Series. I actually have 5 of them here. As far as I'm aware, unless the card changes between the time I'm recording this and the time the event airs, none of these wrestlers are actually going to be competing on the show, but they might still have a presence at some point. I also apologize that the lighting does look a little off. I am actually recording this during the day. So you know what, actually let me turn on the light. Maybe that'll help a little bit better. Okay, yeah, that looks much better. So I don't know why I didn't even think to turn the light on, but I usually don't do these during the day. I usually do them, when it's dark out. So that's why the lighting is usually a little bit better. But, this is just the best time I got to do it. So that's what we're doing today. We are going to get started with one of WWE's biggest stars. He's definitely been at the forefront of WWE for quite some time now. I am, of course, talking about Seth Rollins, and he, of course, goes by Seth freaking Rollins now. And that is until the Netflix era where they're going to be allowed to be PG-13 and above. So who knows? Maybe they'll change it to something else. But Seth freaking Rollins must not have fit on the box, so he's just called Seth Rollins here. Here, of course, back of the box, showing Seth in the back, doing one of his goofy poses that he always does. But he's a fantastic wrestler, a multiple-time world champion, multiple-time U.S. champion. I think he held the Intercontinental title. He's held every title there is to hold, honestly. He won the Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank. What else is there really for him to win at this point? So he's definitely one of the biggest stars in the new generation of WWE. Also, not his first Funko Pop. He has had one before. Came out quite a while ago, so this is a welcome addition to the lineup. Especially because when you look at some of the older WWE Pops and the newer, their newer versions, man, it shows you the evolution of the WWE Pops because they've really changed. They were very simplistic back when Funko was first making them, and now they've had quite the change, up with the designs. Alright, so here is Seth Rollins. This one looks really, really cool. They tried getting him in one of those poses here, it looks like. I don't really know when he wore this particular gear, but it is pretty cool. He also gave him the little blonde highlights that he has in his hair. Seth's kind of been all over the place on WWE TV as of late. He's kind of been involved with the stuff with the Bloodline, stuff with Bronson Reed, who's also now with the Bloodline, and of course also with CM Punk. So it'll be interesting to see if he makes any sort of appearance in that War Games match later on tonight, because he's definitely involved with that story one way or another. So I'll be very curious to see whether or not he is there. This actually looks pretty cool, though. I think they really nailed down the look. Of course, got the goatee going there. I honestly, this is a pretty cool pop. I do like this one. I guess you could say this one is really freaking good. Yeah, that's my humor for you today. So hope you're ready for the next 10 minutes or so. But there's Seth Rollins, really cool pop. I do like this one. And like I said, much better than the original one they made a couple years back. I think this is much, much better. And of course, Rollins has changed since then anyways. So really good they did that one. So the next one here, I'm really, really surprised they made this one. Because this particular character, I mean, the wrestler that's under the mask is one of the most popular ones of all time. But the character that they made this of wasn't really around for very long. I mean, I wasn't really into wrestling at the time when he was around. I was still fairly young. But it seems like it was such a footnote in WWE history that I'm so surprised that merchandise was even made of him. I am, of course, talking about Mr. America. And this is totally not Hulk Hogan, no matter what Vince McMahon would say, because that was who he feuded with at the time. Or actually, I think it was also Kurt Angle and a couple of other people. From what I remember, because when I got into wrestling, I was reading all into it. I remember Mr. America, and I remember that whole storyline, reading about that storyline. And there it is. Yeah, totally not Hulk Hogan. Don't think it is. The mustache definitely doesn't give it away. But yeah, there is all of that. Let's go ahead and see how they did with this one. All right, so here is Mr. America. This one, pretty funny. They even got him doing Hulk Hogan's pose to further establish the fact that they are not one and the same. I like the mask, actually. The mask looks really cool. We got half of it being the stripes, other half being the stars, with the blue and white and the red and white. Looks really, really cool. They got the mustache right there and the long hair. I keep wanting to say Hogan's, but I'm trying to, keep up with the joke where it was not Hogan. So it's really difficult to do that. He also has a little belt on that says Mr. America right there and some boots. Like I said, though, this was not really a character that was around for very much. So that's why I'm always surprised when Funko makes these ones. But honestly, it's pretty cool. I like when they go all out and do some of these characters that were kind of footnotes in WWE's history books. But yeah, Mr. America, this one is also pretty well done. All right, so the next one, we do have one of the women's superstars here. I'm actually a big fan of this particular superstar. I think she is kind of underrated. Never won a championship in WWE, but is almost always consistently on TV. And this particular pop is from when she did challenge for one of the women's championships. I think it was the SmackDown. That was back before they got rid of the brands on the title names. I think it was the SmackDown Women's Championships. She fought Rhea Ripley at Backlash 2023. This is Zelina Vega. Like I said, really cool. We got Zelina Vega. I mean, there are still some other, women's superstars who are kind of featured a little bit more prominently that I thought would have gotten pops before her, but that doesn't seem to be the case as of right now. But I am really cool. I'm really happy that we got this one. And there she is, the side of the box, the back of the box. There she is right there, and the other side. And this particular scene, Backlash was actually in Zelina Vega's hometown. So that is why she has the flag behind her. That's the Puerto Rican flag that she is wearing. So it's really, really cool to see that Funko actually had this part, because she did exactly this in her entrance. She had the flag behind her here, and also had the outfit that was in the same color scheme. Even her hair, she had the blue and the white. So she was, really supporting the hometown, and she got one of the loudest pops of the night. Because, no pun intended, I said pop, but loudest crowd reactions of the night, just by doing this. And that whole match with Rhea Ripley, even though everyone kind of knew Rhea was going to win, it is still cool to see Zelina get that chance in her hometown, and to see it now immortalized as a Funko Pop. So they did a really, really good job with this one. I think they absolutely nailed it. The flag, you got to be kind of careful with it. Obviously you don't want it to break off or anything. But overall, this one ended up looking really, really cool. And I think it's pretty cool that we're getting some of these, other superstars, the underrated ones, in the pop collection as well. Now, this next guy, he's definitely been on TV a lot recently. Definitely has had quite the WWE career so far. I mean, he started his career in WWE back in 2020, and since then he has just had quite he went from kind of being universally hated to being universally loved, and all it took was for him to turn heel and join the Judgment Day. I am talking about Dominik Mysterio. He's had quite a few nicknames. He's also had quite a few girlfriends in WWE, if you can believe it. First one being Rhea Ripley. Now he is, of course, with Liv Morgan. So Dominik is just he hasn't really won any championships. He won the NXT North American title a couple of times. He hasn't won any on the main roster other than the tag titles with his dad, Rey Mysterio, a couple of years ago. But he's still featured on TV, very prominently. So this is, of course, Dirty Dom, as he goes by, or Daddy Dom, as Liv Morgan would call it, it's her words, not mine, is now a Funko Pop. So kind of cool that we got this one. I really, really hope we do get to see Damian Priest at some point. He's not even in the Judgment Day anymore, but it would be really cool to see him get a figure. Alright, so here is Dirty Dominik Mysterio. This one looks pretty cool. They gave him the mullet, which is awesome. I guess it's not really quite a mullet. Well, I guess it's a Funko Pop mullet. It's as close as that's going to get. They didn't give him he's kind of rocking the mustache right now. He looks a lot like Eddie Guerrero. Like, seriously, they probably could have taken that Eddie Guerrero pop that we did a couple of months ago. They could have just taken the head of that pop and slapped it on this one, and it would have basically been the same figure, because he looks so much like Eddie Guerrero, it's not even funny. So the face definitely a little outdated just from that. But the outfit, pretty cool. I mean, he's got the little vest, flannel vest that he wears. He's got a Judgment Day shirt on underneath that, and some Dominik Mysterio, branded pants. I don't know, whatever the heck you want to call it. But this is really cool. Dominik, like I said, quite the career he's had so far, and honestly, he's still fairly young. I think he's only like, what, 24, 25, something like that. So he's got a long ways to go. I wouldn't be surprised if one day we are talking about him as a WrestleMania main eventer. But yeah, there he is, Dominik Mysterio. And that brings us to our last one, which is really, really cool. I am honestly really happy that we got a figure for this one. Given the fact that the Samoan dynasty in WWE has been kind of at the forefront of television for quite a while with the whole bloodline, stuff going on over the last couple of years, it's really cool that we're starting to see some of the previous members, the previous I guess I'm going to say members of the Bloodline, because the Bloodline wasn't really a team, but some of the other, Samoan wrestlers that came before the ones that we're seeing today. And this is one such case of that. This is Umaga. He is actually the, I believe, well, he's not the father, but he is a relative of the Usos and Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns and all of them. None of their fathers. He's just part of that. The family is huge, The Bloodline is a huge family. And Solo Sikoa, who's currently feuding with the OG Bloodline, as they call it, he's the leader of the new Bloodline, actually has adapted some parts of Umaga into his moveset, such as the Samoan Spike. Which is why I was thinking for a second it was his father. I'm like, no, Solo is the Usos' brother, so that wouldn't make any sense. So here is Umaga. This one, really, really cool. It's also a Fanatics exclusive, which we have never seen here on the channel before, but they've been getting a lot of WWE merchandise because Fanatics runs the WWE shop, so that would be why. There is the side of the box, back of the box. That's what Umaga looks like. Unfortunately, he did pass away back in, I think, 2010. So he's been gone for quite a while, but hopefully, they just brought him back into the WWE games. Now he has a pop, so WWE hopefully will get him into the Hall of Fame sooner rather than later, because he was awesome. I loved Umaga. I mean, I don't remember him too much because I was just starting to get into wrestling at the time when he was active, but I always thought he was awesome. And even looking back, I still think he was awesome. So here is Umaga, and this one is really, really well done. They have the, I guess, what would you call these? I don't know if they're dreads or what exactly the hairstyle is here, but they nailed it down. He's got the Samoan face paint on there, which is really cool. They even have the tattoo on his stomach that says Samoa. So that's awesome, along with some other, tribal tattoos and stuff like that. And of course, the back of the pants says Umaga as well. Yeah, this one, really, really cool. I mean, they seriously nailed this design for Umaga. I think they did a phenomenal job with all of the details on this one. And like I said, really happy to see that Funko is willing to branch out into all of these different, eras of WWE, pulling them out and making pops of them. Maybe this even raises the chance for us to get a pop of the Boogeyman. I don't know, I've always really liked the Boogeyman in WWE. Maybe there's a chance down the line. Maybe this time next year I'll be reviewing it. I don't know. It'd be kind of fun. But yeah, that was our WWE Funko Pop video for today, guys. I really liked all of these. I thought there was really no flaws with any of them. So I'll give them all a 9 out of 10. They were picture perfect. Now, honestly, if that's the case, it should be 10 out of 10. So fine, we'll say 10 out of 10. They were all picture perfect. I seriously, I mean, the only gripe, I guess, would have been Dominik's face, not having the mustache, being a little outdated. But these things are put into production months before, those kinds of changes are made. I'd have to make, that's the same issues with the WWE video games. So, it's not a Funko exclusive issue there. But yeah, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on which one is your favorite. We had Seth Rollins, we had Mr. America, we had Zelina Vega, we had Dominik Mysterio, and we had the Fanatics exclusive Umaga. So yeah, definitely let me know down below, guys, which is your favorite. When we come back next week, we're actually going to be doing our very first Christmas video, if you guys can believe it. The holidays are coming, and they are coming very fast. So we have a couple Christmas videos next month, and I am very excited for that. Of course, our next one will be taking place next Saturday. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.